The first impression most visitors to Hong Kong get, after they've negotiated their way from the airport to the city centre, is one of high-rise buildings all crammed into a tiny area. And to talk to some people, you'd think that this is all that Hong Kong has to boast about. I never fail to be surprised by some who have been to Hong Kong many times and genuinely don't know that the territory, or SAR if we're being strictly pedantic, is an incredibly green place once you've escaped the urban environment. Perhaps nowhere is this more so than in Hong Kong's very own Wetland Park, a 60-hectare ecological park located at the northern part of Tin Shui Wai in Yuen Long in the wetland ecosystems in the northwest of the New Territories. This is my first visit here. It's a dismal, cloudy day outside, and dark clouds are threatening scattered showers. But I've got my trusty umbrellarette with me to ward off the rain, and I'm full of the joys of spring, ready to become one with nature. According to the official blurb, the park is home to an impressive cast of wildlife, including birds, butterflies and dragonflies, amphibians, reptiles, mammals and fish. There are also nature trails, bird hides and viewing platforms, making it a handy and excellent spot for birdwatching. Just inside the entrance is a maze made out of hedging, but as it's all below waist height, it's hardly what one might call difficult to work a route through the labyrinth. I'm assuming that in time it'll grow taller and become more of a challenge. Or maybe they will leave it like it is in order to appeal to the kids. Certainly today no one pays it the slightest bit of interest. Hong Kong Wetland Park was designed to be a so-called ecological mitigation area for the wetlands lost due to the development of Tin Shui Wai Newtown. It comprises a 10,000 square metre visitor centre called Wetland Interactive World and a 60-hectare wetland reserve. In 1998, a feasibility project was initiated by the Agriculture, Fisheries and Conservation Department and the Hong Kong Tourism Board with a view to expanding the ecological mitigation area to a wetland ecotourism attraction. It became one of the Millennium Projects of the new SAR administration. A decade later, in 2007, the park was one of 5 winners of the Awards for Excellence Asia-Pacific competition from the Urban Land Institute. First up, it's straight into the Wetland Interactive World, which has themed exhibition galleries, a theatre, a souvenir shop, an indoor play area and a resource centre. It's teeming with kids on organised school expeditions, and I wonder if it was really such a great idea coming here. But my forebodings are soon laid to rest. A mural has me wondering if I really am going to see kingfishers scooping up fish, while croc, frogs, birds, butterflies and insects look on. Maybe this is what they call artistic license. The exhibitions showcase the importance of wetlands conservation, but far from being a boring educational diatribe on saving the planet, most of the galleries are pretty good. There's one especially in which you can view both above and below water level to see the diversity of pond and tropical swamp life. There's a model duck, which we are told is under repair. But when will marketers discover that the general public really isn't as stupid as they would have us believe? Exhibits don't get repaired to serve us better. They get repaired when they start falling apart. It's as basic as that. Marketing, who needs it? The Swamp Gallery is pretty impressive. Once again we can take a peek both above and below the waterline. Elsewhere there are giant insects strung up around the place, not very scary when you see the multiple lines supporting them from falling onto the visitors below. Leaving the visitor centre, a pathway meanders off into the distance. Already there are spots of rain, but it doesn't dampen the appeal of the place. The blurb would have us believe that one of the most attractive parts of the park is the mangrove boardwalk, and websites advise it is well worth trying to visit at low tide when the mud under the mangroves is teeming with mudskippers and fiddler crabs. I'm particularly keen to see the mangroves, but the wetland park is obviously trying to serve us better since the mangrove boardwalk is closed today. Never mind, there's plenty more to catch the eye, including some gorgeous plants bordering the walkways. The blurb also tells us that the wetland reserve consists of recreated habitats designed for waterfowl and other wildlife. I think if I were one, I'd be happy to settle here. But maybe they haven't read the free handouts. There's not a single animal to be seen in this area, lovely though it is. But what there are in abundance are signs and mocked-up displays, giving us an insight into what one might have seen if the animals had had the decency to read the advertising. With the twists and turns, it's easy to lose your sense of direction, but everywhere there are maps pointing out what there is to see in one's particular neck of the woods. It starts to rain, but there are plenty of pavilions in which one can shelter and take the time to enjoy the simple pleasures of nature. It stops raining, and I cross one of the many bridges that zigzag their way across stretches of water. In the background is the ever-present plethora of high-rise tower blocks, but here one feels totally at peace with nature. Around the park there are a number of viewing hides, and it's from here that you start to see the abundant wildlife that obviously isn't aware that they are being stared at from all directions. It feels a bit voyeuristic, to be honest, spying on the birds and other animals preening themselves, having sex, and getting up to all manner of things that perhaps their parents wouldn't want to know about. Within the hides there are quite a few binoculars and telescopes provided, though obviously on a busy day there could be quite a queue for these. Many twitchers prefer to bring their own, plus long-range camera lenses too, of course. There are also ample explanatory charts, so you can try to work out what on earth you're looking at, and then confidently go back home and state, "Guess what, I saw a black-faced spoonbill today," or whatever. On a grey day like today, there appears little of note to see, however, except for the distant high-rises in Shenzhen across the border in the motherland. It's time to go. At the exit is a dancing fountain display throwing ad hoc jets of water up in the air, the kind of display which normally gets the kids running wildly about underneath. But right now the kids are still inside the centre, and it's time to make my way back to the urban landscape. But even Metropolis Land can be beautiful. It's just a stone's throw away to the MTR station, but here there is still plenty of bougainvillea to pose and take selfies with.